So today we'll be discussing about the demo discussion of automation in AI. So let me quickly share my screen and please let me know if you're able to see it. We'll first understand why do we need automation and why do we need AI. And accordingly, we will understand exactly how we are placed in terms of automation in the IT networking. So I'll be specifically discussing about the programmability of IT networking. There are multiple ways that you can actually code your network. So before that, let us first understand why are we supposed to even code code our day-to-day tasks. Firstly, uh, so we had traditional networking, right? So in the traditional networking, we had so basically the traditional networks. We had a LAN and a WAN. So the LAN was taken care by the network engineers. The WAN was taken care by L3 engineers or L4 engineers who are much more better in terms of networking, right? So the LAN was taken care by the L1 or L2 engineers, wherein they used to just configure the VLANs, right? They used to just configure the VLANs and maybe routing, specifically the OSPF, or maybe in the a few days ago, or should I say 10-15 years ago, even EIGRP or RIP, which is now almost outdated. RIP is completely outdated, and EIGRP, unofficially people do not use it because it's a Cisco proprietary. So the tasks were actually repetitive most of the times, and people used to have what? People used to actually use the scripts. So what was that script? So those scripts were actually templates. They used to have these templates that were added in the SharePoint. And they used to copy paste this template. So the template used to contain two parts. The first one is the constant part. And the other part was a variable part. The constant part was interface, gig, and the variable part was 1/0. So this gig, we used to just type in something like this, XXX in a brackets. So basically people used to understand that this has to be filled. So this is how the templates were used. Basically, this was a very old way of automating stuff. So basically, we used to just think that, OK, everything is already there. We don't have to write everything from the beginning because this interface gig is there already, right? So that's pasted already. So after that, the IP address. And then we used to add x.x.x.x and then /x. So basically, this identified that it is supposed to be an IP address with a subnet mask, right? So basically what the command used to be, the command used to be x.x.x.x and then x.x.x.x, right? Because you have to add in 192.168.10.1, okay? And then you can add in your /24 or your subnet mask. So whatever based on your requirement. So basically, so this was a very old way of automating stuff. So basically this was not automation at all. So we were just making our life easy and we had to copy paste all of this stuff. And this had a lot of errors as well. So after that, like I guess 15 years ago, Cisco started adding in a script, a code, a piece of code in the iOS devices. So I'm sure you people know there are different version of images in Cisco. iOS, this is outdated, or should I say end of life. We have currently iOS XE, we have iOS XR, NXOS. After that, we have our ACIOS in a SD-WAN, or should I say in the SDN network, software defined network. And then we have our WANage, our SD-WAN controllers image that actually is again just similar like our iOS XE. And then we also have our DNA center image. Okay, so the DNA center. So the DNA center, actually, this image is also similar to our ACIOS. So both of these are actually part of Linux. Also Cisco ICE, which is part of our SDN fabric. So all of them are part of Linux. So basically they are derived from Linux. So all the software defined networking devices are derived from Linux, and they have a bash command. They have a bash shell. They have a bash shell. So all of these are currently the part of Cisco network. So let us start with iOS. So this was there around 15 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. So Cisco started with iOS with a small piece of code that had inbuilt in the iOS called as TCL. So we had to just type in TCL, and then we would get into the script command or the script shell. So wherein we could copy paste the code inside the TCL, inside the device itself. Okay, so that was taken care, or should I say that was enhanced with the embedded event manager. So every device can be automated as a single device. Every device can be automated as a single device. So you can automate the device without even connecting that to any server. You can just get into the CLI and then automate the device. Okay, so that is where Cisco started with. After that, Cisco um, made it. It started with more enhanced way. So wherein the iOS XE came in the picture. So the iOS XE right now, most of the devices run on iOS XE. Let's start with maybe any LAN switches. LAN switches. Most of the WAN routers, except your ASR routers. You also have your wireless controllers that are running on iOS XE. So the latest version of wireless controllers, 9800 series, they run on the iOS XE. So all of these, actually most of the devices run on iOS XE, and this iOS XE can be automated very straightforwardly with any of the code. Example, Python, Ansible. You can also go with Go. You can also go with Chef. You can also go with Puppet. Any of these can be automated, or should I say the iOS XE can be automated with any of these codes. So now the question comes, which code is more popular? Which code is more popular, and which code should I start learning first? So that's the question, right? So I have mentioned like 4 or 5 codes. Now the question comes, which one should I start with? So I'm new to automation. Where do I start? The answer to the question is, you start with the code that is used most. And after that, you can cover the rest of the codes. Now the question comes, which is used most? The most used language or most used code in the modern networks and also in the artificial intelligence in the AI day is Python. You use Python for everything nowadays. Python is used for AI. Python is the language of AI. Python is the language for automation in networking. Python is very easy to understand. Python is a readable language. Now comes the question, what about the others? The next most frequently used code is Ansible. Now comes the interesting part. The interesting part is Ansible is derived from Python. You can consider that Ansible is a child of Python. If you know Python, then Ansible is a piece of cake because Ansible is derived from Python. So now if you understand Python, you will understand 70 to 80% of automation without any issues. Whether you take up any Cisco certification, the chunk of the automation is based on Python. Cisco certifications are actually a mirror of the real world nowadays. So basically, the Cisco certifications are evolving every 6 months. And they're adding in the syllabus that are exactly relevant to the production network, to the real day network. So you would see most of the chunk of automation in Python. Okay, now the question comes. Okay, I learned Python, but how to learn Python? That's the biggest hurdle for any network engineer. That's the biggest hurdle for any network engineer. So to learn Python, you have to make sure that you first understand exactly how does the code work. And what is the planning towards coding. You write a script. You cannot upload that in a SharePoint. And I guess few people do it. Few people upload the script in the SharePoint and then other people, they download that script and use it. That is a very, very bad practice. For you to actually code well, you have to first understand that you need to actually have a repo. What is a repo? A repo is a repository wherein you can save your code. Let's say, for example, there are 3 people. Let's say this is Azam, this is Sam, and this is Vishnu. 3 people writing the same code. Now they cannot share, they cannot save that in a SharePoint, correct? They cannot put this in the SharePoint. If they put this in the SharePoint, then there'll be different versions. There are going to be different versions of the code. So that is where the repository comes in the picture. So you're supposed to actually use the repository so that it is one piece of a code with different versions there, and you would know who has added their own version. For that, we have different repositories. Two of them very famous. I'm sure everyone might have heard of it. GitHub and Git. I'm not going to go in the differences between these two. Both are repositories. So we have to first understand how does the repositories work, how we can push the code. After that, we have to exactly learn how to code. There are 2 ways that you can learn how to code. Firstly, you can code manually, or you can use the AI to code. You can either code manually or you can use AI to code. So before me continuing, does anyone have any questions here? I'm taking a pause. Does anyone have any questions? Is everyone following me? Yes, go ahead, Zubair.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that SharePoint. What is this exactly? What it does?
Okay. So Zubair, so in traditional days, we used to have a SharePoint. Every company has a SharePoint, right? So wherein the templates used to be stored. So everyone would get access to the SharePoint. So this SharePoint was a part of OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive. So do you know Microsoft 365? So there's a OneDrive and there's a SharePoint over there. So everyone has the access to uploading there.
Sir, actually, to simplify, just I am adding one more point. It's consider it as a shared drive where actually common user can access the files. That's it.
Correct. Are you understanding, Zubair?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm following. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, I'll take that as a no. So there are two ways that you can code. So the first way is manually. The second way is via AI. So now the question comes, everything is, well, you just put in some information in your, let's say, in a chatbot, right? Like any chatbot, like for example, your ChatGPT or Bard or any XYZ, okay? You get an instant information and then you rely on that information, but that information is not always accurate. The information is not always accurate. So when it comes to AI, you're getting the information, you're supposed to validate the information. To validate the information, you're supposed to have at least intermediate knowledge. You're supposed to have at least intermediate knowledge of the topic. For example, in our case, let's say I want a piece of code from Python. I just put in, okay, I want to automate. I want to automate a VLAN. Please give me the script. Definitely ChatGPT or your Gemini or Bard would give you the script. Now, how would you verify that this script is correct? For that, you need to at least have some intermediate knowledge. Has anyone heard about this word called as hallucination in AI? Anyone here who has heard the term called as hallucination? Yes, no? Okay, fine.
Generic
So I'll take
hallucination
it.
head, but with AI, no.
Okay, fine. So hallucination is actually a shortcoming of AI wherein the AI thinks that the answer is correct. The AI thinks that, for example, the code it has given is correct even if the code is wrong. So this issue is not yet been solved. And that is the reason we are still employed. Yes, I completely agree. 5 to 10% of jobs are already vanished, which will come to it during our AI discussion. Okay, so for this hallucination, we still are employed. However, the future is very grim. The future is very grim. We are supposed to be frightened. I'm not frightening you people, but this is the fact. We can lose our job anytime. The only way that we can save our jobs is upskilling. And now the question comes, what have to upskill on? We have to upskill on automation, which is the backbone. Let me just clear this out. upskill on automation, which is backbone of AI. Automation is the backbone of AI. And automation's most loved language is Python. So if you're upskilling yourself in Python, you will cover most of the automation, around 80% of the automation. And after that, as a network engineer, you are supposed to upskill yourself in the AI network. Now, what do I mean by AI network? So let's say, for example, you have ChatGPT. Okay, so ChatGPT is what basically it's a large learning model. It's called LLM. Okay, so this LLM is actually hosted in a server. Where is this server connected? This server would be connected to a switch. Where would this switch be connected? The switch would be connected to a router. And where is this router connected? This router would be connected to the internet. Now the question comes, am I talking traditional networking? Yes, on a high level, I am talking traditional networking. However, there are a lot of changes in this type of networking. You will not be using your Ethernet. You will be using something else. Your servers will not be straightforward servers. They are going to be a very, very high intensity servers with lot of traffic flow. The traffic flow can be from anywhere. We are not talking about gigabytes anymore. We are talking about terabytes. So basically, as a network engineer, to be relevant in the world of networking and to be stayed employed, what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to first learn Python and then learn how to actually build a AI network. And which is what we will be focusing in our course. Okay, so let me quickly run through the slides. Firstly, why do we need programmability? Because it is faster. It is faster, and the repeating tasks, okay, that are supposed to be automated. So people are looking to actually shrink down their their human resource. Why? Because stuff that they can do can be automated, right? So if you have to stay relevant, so we have to learn the skill of automation. After that, automation helps us in terms of consistency. So there is no scope of human errors until and unless your code is not verified. Until and unless your code is not verified. So basically your code will be verified just like how your scripts are verified. Before implementing your scripts, there's a process called as change window. I hope you people know what a change window is. Everyone are network engineers here. You have an implementation plan, you have a backout plan, and then you have a verification plan as well. Yes, no, folks?
Yes, sir.
Right? So you have a implementation, verification, and a backout plan. So there is a evaluation of your changes in your change meeting. I guess it will be a day before or 2 days before. The same way your codes are verified. The codes are verified by your team. They'll verify it and then they will tell, okay, go ahead and then implement this particular code. So basically it is very much better in terms of you copy pasting the scripts. So basically your human errors are mostly taken care of. After that, so the new network architectures are coming in. So for that, you are now supposed to redesign your network. Okay, so you are supposed to redesign your network. Why you are supposed to redesign your network? Because of the AI. So till few years ago, we had traditional networking that was getting migrated to software defined networking. And now the software defined networking will, or should I say it is already getting shaped up into AI networks. It is already getting shaped into AI networks. Now understanding the software defined networking is become a mandatory aspect. You cannot get stuck with your traditional networking because there is a additional network beyond software defined networking. Beyond software networking, software defined networking, you already have your AI networking. Have you heard about AI ops? AI operation center. Has anyone heard about AI operation center? AI ops. Okay. So this AI ops is an operation center that is taking care of your AI network. So now we have to make sure that we upskill as fast as possible. Okay, or else we'll be out of the market. Next. The question comes, how do we prepare ourselves? Okay, so I'm going to deliver my content. So how do you practice? So to practice, it's very, very straightforward and simple. So everything is now VM based. Everything is VM based. So you can practice in EVNG, you can practice in GNS3, and you can practice in Cisco modeling labs. So how many people here know about Cisco modeling labs?
Yes, I worked on that.
Okay. So how many of you don't know about any of these three? I guess by now everyone should know about EVNG, GNS3, and CML, the short form of Cisco modeling labs. Does anyone here who don't know about these simulators or emulators? I take it as a no. So all these three are free to use. Cisco Modeling Labs, which is a emulator / simulator from Cisco. It is an official emulator which was not free, which is now free up to 5 devices. You can lab up 5 devices and you can practice. So you can have your routers, you can have your switches, and then see how you can automate them. You don't have to buy anything. Everything is absolutely free. You can lab up in your own laptop. GitHub is free. The repository is free. The routers and switches are free. Code, Python, which is free. All you need to know is how to use them. And you can implement everything. In fact, in the production networks, in the companies, before you implementing any code, you are asked to actually create a topology. You're asked to create a topology, test it, and then show that to your counterparts and only then implement in the production network. So whatever you will be learning in this course, this will be your first step in your automation job. You cannot just code and then put that in a live device. You cannot do that. You have to first lab up, then show that your code is actually working in the simulated environment. And that is what you will be learning in this course. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, so again, I've already mentioned this. So why do we need a simulation? It is very fast. It is fast, consistent, and value add. So basically, there'll be no downtime. There'll be no downtime at all. So you'll be using everything in a lab, right? When you're using everything in the lab, no risk, risk-free. Okay,
Sir,
next, after that. Yeah.
Sir, is this
Yes.
applicable for all the products like, for example, F5, like if we are generating the AVR reports, like application visibility reports. So all these kinds of prompts, like across the almost all vendors is supported, for example, F5. Then taking example of if we see about the SIM solutions like RSA or Rapid7, so or Cisco Splunk. So all these things across the platform, it is supported, or like, as you mentioned, it's some vendor specific.
Absolutely. A good question, Sajjan. All the platforms are supported. All the
Okay, thank you.
platforms are supported. Cisco, Juniper, F5, or Arista, HP, Nokia, whether it is LAN, whether it is WAN, or whether it is ISP, all the devices are supported. The reason why I say that is because all those devices are VM based. Any device that is VM based is supported, and everyone is now moving towards VM based only. You will hardly find big routers. Most of them are actually VM based only. All of them are in server, except your customer edge. Most of the customer edges are hardware. Okay, and there are also VM based options for them as well. So all of them are VM based. So when they are VM based, then they can definitely be emulated. Okay, Sajjan?
Okay, clear.
Fine. Next point. So just like how we have scripts that we get from the internet or maybe from the Cisco books, we have codes written as well. We have codes as a templates. So these codes are actually called as network as a code. So basically, you can actually find the code and make changes to their variables, test them, deploy them, and look for their efficiency. So you will readily get the code based on your requirement, and then you can make the changes accordingly. So that's called as network as a code. So I will also be telling you exactly from where to find the code for example, some new technologies like advanced malware protection / prevention. So this AMP is actually a cloud-based service. Anyone who has worked on SD-WAN will know about AMP, or anyone who has worked on SD access will know about AMP. So this is a cloud-based service. If you want to automate this cloud-based service, you have a readily available code. So this readily available code is called as network as a code. It is not available for all of them. However, I'll be highlighting so that you people understand exactly from where to get the legitimate code and how to use it and how to actually verify that as well. Okay. Moving to the next slide. We can also use AI. As I mentioned, we can also use AI. However, to understand and use AI, you have to first understand the basics of code. You have to first understand the basics of the code and have some intermediate knowledge which you are going to get from the course. So this basic to intermediate knowledge will keep you skilled up in this AI network. So this is a combo course, automation and AI. So basically I will be showing you how to automate the devices in two ways. Firstly, manual way. And secondly, I'll just change the color here. Manual way and through the AI way. Okay, how to edit the code after getting it from AI. Before that, I'll actually show you how to automate that manually. And also, I will be teaching you how to implement the AI network. Okay, with this, let us go towards our syllabus. Let us go towards our syllabus and we'll understand exactly what we will learn in this particular course. So if you have provided the number to Jhansi, you will get this particular document. Okay. So this is a 3 months course. So we'll be cutting this down to on a month basis. So in a month 1, you will be understanding the basics. In month 2, you will be understanding the Python. In month 3, you will be understanding the different ways that you can use Python. Okay. Firstly, in month 1, basics. In month 2, understanding Python. And in month 3, in different ways of implementing Python. Okay. Month 1, firstly, how you're supposed to develop and design your software. Very, very basics. You have to first understand how to actually develop your software and how to design it. There are different formats for it. There are different data formats, like for example, XML, JSON, and AML. You have to understand how exactly they are written up and what is the difference between all of these three, and how to parse the Python. How to parse Python with these 3 languages. After this, you will understand what are the different methodologies that you are supposed to actually use to actually write a good code. How to actually write a good code. So how many of you here know about Agile? So this is the most commonly used method in the production networks. The lead and waterfall methods are very less used. Test-driven deployment is not at all used. So how many of you people know about Agile method, or anyone has heard about it? Anyone heard about it?
Yeah,
Okay.
heard.
Sam has heard. Who else has heard about it? So there are different ways of how we can actually follow the process of coding. So basically, you're going to have 10 to 15 people in your team. So what is the process that they're supposed to follow and how they are supposed to be monitored? How they are supposed to be monitored. So basically, one task is divided into 4 tasks, 4 subtasks. and that is actually divided into, let's say, a work is of 1 month. It's divided into 4 weeks. Week 1, second week, third week, fourth week.
They call sprint, right? Sprint.
Correct. So it's called a sprint. And this agile method is used in the software development. You're supposed to write a code and you are supposed to test a piece of code accordingly. And whatever you're going to write, that should be working to that level. So different ways of development methods, we'll discuss on that. After that, how to organize the code. Okay, you have written some piece of code, how to organize it. What are the functions? What are the classes? What are the modules? Okay, and then we will discuss how to add them in the repos. What is a version control? Okay, how to use your Git operations. How to clone, add, commit, push, pull, branch, merge, differentiate. How to understand, how to use the REST APIs. Application programmable interface, how to use the APIs. So APIs is the language of communication. This is the communication language.
Hi, Ajam.
Let's say, yeah, go ahead, Rahul.
So, before going with this course, what are the prerequisites for this course?
Okay, very good question.
Yeah.
You don't have to have any prerequisites, Rahul. This is beginners to intermediate. I know that most of the network engineers are lacking the networking automation skills. If you are a network engineer with 2 to 3 years of experience and you have the basics of L2 and L3, you should be good with this course. I will not be teaching you what is a VLAN. I'll not be teaching you what is an OSPF, how to configure OSPF. You're supposed to have that. This is the beginners to intermediate course for network engineers.
So I have one question. Are we going to learn only Python or are we going to cover Ansible as well in this course? No.
Okay, again, another good question. This is focused only on Python. This is a combo of Python plus AI. After this, we have another combo wherein you have Ansible plus AI. So if you're looking for Ansible, you can join in that course, which is going to come up after a couple of months. This is only Python.
So I have one more quick question, like in a production environment, right? Whether we can automate our infra with Python only, or we need Python or Ansible both? How does both of them work together? So
okay. So I've already mentioned about this. However, I'm repeating myself. If you learn Python, 80% of your automation is covered. Python is the language of AI. Python is the language of automation. Most of the companies use Python. If you learn Python, you can learn Ansible very easily because Ansible is a subset of Python. If you go to learn Ansible from without learning Python, it becomes difficult.
yeah.
Okay, so 80% of people use Python and around 20% of people use Ansible.
Yazam, I work basically in firewalls and load balancers. So how much the skills would help me in this, and I'm just beginner in Splunk as well. Splunk, I'm just started with this Splunk, and also there is Dynatrace in pipeline. So basically, I'm moving into observability and customer experience management. So on the both sides. So I read in the notes that the skill would help in in operation. So if you can just elaborate.
Okay. So Zubair, so I'll be teaching Python wherein you can use on any network device.
Okay.
When I say any network device, it also includes the firewall. It includes all the vendors as well.
Okay.
However, I will be giving a reference of Cisco.
Okay.
I'll be giving a reference of Cisco all the time in the course. The reason because we need to have a reference point. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Because most of the devices, I'm sure you would agree, 70 to 80% of network devices are Cisco.
Yes.
The remaining 20% are non-Cisco, and those non-Cisco devices also would work accordingly itself. Let's say Juniper.
Mm-hmm.
You can push the same code to Juniper as well, but the variables are supposed to be changed. Cisco has show IP interface brief. Correct?
Yeah.
But Juniper does not have IP interface brief. It has just show interface brief.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The variables will change, Zubair. However, the code is going to be the same.
Okay.
The methodology is going to be same.
Okay.
So the reference is going to be the vendor Cisco. However, it will target all the network devices, provided you just make the changes accordingly, and that will help you in your production network.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions before I go ahead? Okay.
Yeah, I have
Sir,
one question I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to know, like the person who have knowledge of legacy network only, and the other person have like knowledge of SD-WAN, SDN. Okay, so which one is more suitable for this course?
Okay. So see whether you have a traditional networking or SDN networking. Very, very good question, Rahul. So it's good to have that you have a knowledge about SDN.
Okay.
It is good if you have a knowledge of software defined networking. For example, I would say that you are supposed to copy paste this in your Epic controller. You're supposed to copy paste this in your Epic controller. For that, you're supposed to know what an Epic controller is. However, in the course, I will tell the basics of the software defined networking on a high level. And I will tell you exactly where to go copy paste the code, but I will not be telling you anything else apart from that. So we have a parallel course that will be running in for our ACI plus SD-WAN plus SD access, specifically ICNet. So you'll be running this SDN combo parallelly in the mornings at 8:30 to 10:30. And this course, which is automation and AI, is 11:30 to 1:30. This is only in the weekends. Both are in the weekends. If you're not upskilled with SDN, you can join both our courses. ACI plus SD-WAN plus SD access combo in the morning, 8:30 to 10:30, and 10:30 and 11:30 to 1:30 would be our automation plus AI. All of them are going to go parallelly. They are going to run parallelly. And if you're not upskilled with that, you can join that course as well. I'll be the trainer for the same. So does that answer your question, Rahul?
Yeah. So it means that we should have knowledge of SDN, right?
Yes. So you are supposed to have basic understanding. If you do not have the basic understanding, I'll definitely tell you on a very high level. But this is a automation plus AI course, not a software defined networking course. I hope you understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Sajan, you had a question.
Yeah, sir, I think you covered like, ND also will be part of this, right? Because we are pushing from ND orchestrator. So that also will be part of this, right?
The orchestrator configuration is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll be telling that how to do it. However, we'll start from the traditional networking.
Okay.
We'll start from the traditional networking and then I'll show you how to copy paste it. The labs are going to be very straightforward because there is no end-to-end communication that will happen. Okay. Apart from SD-WAN, you cannot do end-to-end communication with ACI or with the SD access, but I'll definitely show you how to do it, where to do it.
Okay, like now in the olden days we are doing the cron, the tool which taking the backup. Similarly, we can do backup and everything. We can do with the scripts, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. After that, in month 2, we'll start up with the basics of Python. So this is a basics to intermediate course. So this is a basics to intermediate. So we are going to start from the very basics. We'll start from hello world, how to write the hello world script. The basic script, how to use a print command. Print Azabasha, and then it will show up my name. We are going to start from the very basics. Very basics. You can come with the empty slate and go back with the intermediate knowledge. We'll start with the Python basics, how to install Python in your laptop, how to interact with Python, how to use VS Code, or how to use the PyCharm and all of those things, and how to use the data types, how to put the user input, what are strings, what are slice function, what are the different types of operations that you are going to see with Python, what is if, elif, and else, what are the different types of loops, what are the different types of functions, scope, modules, what is a pip command, what is a pip command, read and write files, Python, try excepts, comments, how to connect via SSH through the Python, how to connect via API. All of this information you will understand in the in the month 2. So in the beginning, you will understand. In the month 1, you will understand exactly where you're going to start with your software coding. So where you're going to start with your coding, and then what you'll have to code, which is your Python. How to code, that you will learn in month 2. In month 3, you will understand the intermediate concepts like Paramico, NetMiko, Palm, Nornir, NetConf, RESTconf, PyATS. From the beginners to intermediate, and here you will understand exactly how to put this code in the Cisco device. I'll be giving a reference of the Cisco device. You can use the same even in your Juniper. You can use the same in your Palo Alto, your Fortinet, with some changes of the variables, and by referring couple of documents. The implementation part, the entire configuration, troubleshooting would be taken care in the month 3. So this will conclude our automation discussion. And then we'll be discussing about the AI. So AI is a very interesting topic. We are going to start with the basics of AI. Fundamentals of AI. And then we'll go with the requirement and compliances with the AI infrastructure. So this AI is not a normal course. So this course is specific to the network engineers. Artificial intelligence infrastructure. We are not talking about AI. We are not talking about tools. I'll not be telling you what is Chat GPT. Please. I will not tell you how to use prompts. No. I will be telling about how you can create a AI infrastructure. How to build a AI network. How to build a AI network. Okay. So this is going to be a 2 months course. And again, weekends only. Firstly, we start with the AI basics, then we go with the AI infrastructure requirement and the compliances. And then we'll see how we can actually implement the AI networks. So just like how we have a 2-tier model, just like how we have a 2-tier model, how we have a 3-tier model, how we have a spine and leaf model. The same way we have an architecture for AI network. If you're understanding this on a high level, you will understand how the AI networks are implemented. This is again beginners to intermediate discussion. And this discussion mostly revolves around planning. This course revolves more around the planning. So basically, you have to first understand how you are supposed to implement, and then you implement. In any course, you will not be able to implement a AI network because the AI network devices are non-implementable right now. They need a lot of space. When I say that they need a lot of space, so basically they need a lot of CPU, GPU. For that, you have to first understand exactly how to implement that, and then you can be ahead in your job so that you can implement that in a production network. So there are different labs for it, which I'll be talking about in a couple of minutes. So lastly, or should I say after that, AI considerations, what you're supposed to do to actually optimize your AI network. So you first planned your network. You planned your network. After planning in a network, what are the considerations to optimize the network? You will learn these. And after that, you will then learn how to deploy the models, how to deploy the endpoints. So the endpoints deployment, we can do that lab. We can also do the lab on exactly how they can be fine-tuned. However, implementing the architecture, this cannot be done in a lab, which is not currently possible, but this is a planning process which will be taking care. So in total, 3 months for automation, 2 months for AI. This is a 5 months course. 5 months only on the weekends.